Well, it's about a kid who's going through some rough times in his teen years, and it's basically about his journey in one of those wilderness detention facilities in the United States. Um, and basically, the first half, you kind of find out why he was sent there in flashbacks while he experiences like his first year there. And then there's like a jump in time to about a year later, and you see how things have evolved at this camp and himself, and some other surprises come up, and it kind of becomes a thriller at that point, and ends in a kind of tragic, not a black and white ending, more of a gray area all around, I think. Yeah. But that's the gist of the story. I had written it initially when I was 18 by myself. I just got out of high school, and I I got the idea, and so I started writing it, and I was trying to get it made for about a few years, and it was hard. I wasn't really happy with where the script was at. I don't think it was as strong as it is today, at all. I don't think it would have been as good if I had it made back then, and a writing partner, my friend, he was a writer. I really liked his stuff. His name's Mark Penny. Penney is his last name. and basically brought him on, and we did a whole complete rewrite from the beginning, and just kind of reevaluated everything. And it even evolved from there quite a bit, all the way up to editing. Like, it was changing in the editing room, like where we were placing scenes, and things became a little more non-linear in post, especially with the beginning. It used to start off with all the hometown scenes, and you remember how now it's like flashbacks into those memories. It used to not be memories. It was like, here's the hometown scenes, and then here's the camp, and I just felt like it was and it was just, the pacing wasn't really working for me, and I found it more like you were just along with the journey, opposed to discovering stuff, and discovering why he's there and what he's bottling up. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Coldwater probably would have never been made if it wasn't for our success with Bellflower, because I basically, it kind of gave us that stamp of approval, invited us in the industry, because we were just broke filmmakers at the time when we made that. Now this was like, we made it, it was successful, and people, I think, took us serious as filmmakers. And so I had been making films for a long time, and I had met Evan a long time ago, and we were both making short films. So we both were directors and liked each other's stuff, and that's kind of what happened. So now we're just branching, making our own things, and it's good. It's really great to kind of feel like your career's now blossoming after a lot of years of trying, because it's hard to kind of break away in when you don't, it's not like we had any relationships. I had no family connections or anything, and then all of a sudden in 3 years I've made more relationships than I did in 10 years prior. So, yeah. You watch Coldwater, and it's a lot. It's very intense, and it's a dark drama. But the experience on set was everything different. It was completely opposite. We basically we all lived together in this camp, in this facility. We didn't have any cell phone reception, nothing, and so we were all there at this place for a long period of time, and it was so much fun. Like, it wasn't hard at all. I think everybody had the time of their life, because we would film all day. I'd film all day, and then I'd sit afterwards with the cinematographer, and we would go over the next day. Everybody else would be drinking and hanging out, having a good time. So it wasn't, everybody just, I think, had a memorable time. Yeah, it was, so everything complete opposite from the movie. And it also was a place where we all trusted each other, we trusted each other asking questions, the actors all kind of bonded. And I kind of wanted that environment, like for the cast. I wanted them to all feel like they were a part of something. And, I'm not really like a believer in, like, oh, I want them to be uncomfortable and really feel like trapped, and because they're actors, they should be able to do anything. So in my opinion, like, I want them to be comfortable and be able to feel like they can ask any questions and not feel trapped or, that's all. Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, I really think so, because I don't really have that. I know what I want, and I feel like there's ways to. Everybody's got their own uh, emotions, and I think I'm smart at knowing people how they'd react with things and handling situations delicately when people are sensitive. So I felt like I know what I want, and I'm very prepared. But making a movie is it's such an evolution. Like, you think your script is one thing, and then you start shooting, and it becomes bigger, and your script is permanent in your head, but pretty much none of those places exist in real life until you start filming. And then when you see that, it's not exactly what you thought. Sometimes better, sometimes you have to change, to make it work for, the movie. And so it evolves constantly, and the actors, then bring in other things and ideas, and some of them are bad ideas, some of them are great, and they change your script, they change everything. And so all the way till post-production, then you're editing, and so you have to be open to that. I don't feel like it's healthy to be, strict and selfish almost, to not collaborate with people. I think it's a collaboration. You're obviously the leader, and you need to know, because people want to feel like you know what you're doing and you're confident, and they're in good hands, especially actors. They want to feel like they're in good hands. And I feel like I'm good at that, and that's most important in getting what you want, Because if you're fighting and yelling on set and just bad energy, I don't think anybody likes that. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm a mixture of both collaborative, but also I'm also, I know what I want, So and communicating is one of the biggest ways to get it. Oh, that's a good question. You know, there's a lot of movies, especially independent films nowadays. You don't have a lot of. I guess I've noticed a lot of independent films are really stripped down, and they're made very cinematically one way. I kind of wanted this movie to feel like more of a theatrical, cinematic movie. So more classic, like a movie, like an independent film that felt like a Shawshank. Bigger than what the budget was, bigger than, more of a movie experience, opposed to like a socially relevant, deep film where, um, a lot of handheld or whatever. I don't know. This movie in particular, I wanted it to feel like just more like a motion picture, old school film that you would go see. And I guess there's obviously a lot of me in the film, cinematically, like my film aesthetics. But it's weird. Like I've had this movie for so long, and I was trying to make it for so many years, and I feel it was almost a movie when I finally got the money to make it, I almost had moved past that as a filmmaker. Like, it wasn't a movie I necessarily would have wanted to make anymore. And I don't know how that, I'll say, like, it couldn't have been better than it now. Like, I feel like it's the best movie it could have possibly been now, opposed to if I made it years ago. But when I got the opportunity to make it, it was really weird, because I had other movies that I had really felt close to now. And this one, I'd kind of moved past it several years ago. And so making that, though, I kind of fall in love with it again, And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like my next one is going to be very close to me as well. But hopefully I don't have to wait 10 years to do it. Now I can make it next year, hopefully. Well, I'm producing a movie right now, too. We're literally shooting right now in LA and Los Angeles and Ventura. The guys I made Bellflower with, Evan is not directing it, but he's producing it with me, along with all the Coat Wolf people. We made Bellflower, so we're all making this next one. It's an action movie. It's really crazy, with a lot of stunts and fire and explosions. But it's an action movie based on like those old video side-scrolling fight games. I don't know if you remember those, like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, and movies like Rumblefish or Streets of Fire. And it's kind of has that feel, you know. And so it's crazy. It was really intense making it so far. So after here, I go back and continue working on it. But that'll come out next year. And then my next feature I'll direct some point next year.